Dear viewers, my name is Neha and I am your host from Gurukul of Civil Engineers YouTube channel. Today my guest is Mr. Gaurav Singh. He is a doctor by degree and he has done his a doctors from Geo Informatics from Faculty ITC University of Twente in Netherlands. Basically, you are a civil engineer and you have around 14 years of experience. So, hello Dr. Gaurav Singh, how are you?
Hi, thanks, Neha. Thanks for having me. I'm good. How are you?
I'm fine. So,
Great.
tell our viewers about your profile, your journey as a student, then as a professional.
All right. Okay. So I started my professional journey in let's say 2003 or mid of 2002 to be very precise, because that's when I completed my civil engineering degree. I did it from let's say North Maharashtra University, which was part of Pune University at one point in time. So it was a very new university, but the college I was in was quite an old college. It was called College of Engineering in Bhusawal. So it was almost, let's say, 20, 25 years old college at that time when I did my civil engineering, actually. And that was the oldest college in the university that had the civil engineering department very well furnished with all the labs and material testing facility and those kind of things. So that was a good experience in college in bachelors. Yeah, from there on, I worked for, let's say, a couple of years with a small consultancy firm, which was named as Span Consultants. That was very famous in those days. From there on, I started my master's degree with the Indian Institute of Remote Sensing, and the degree was in International Training Center, which is now called as International Institute for Geoinformation Science and Earth Observation in the Netherlands. After that, I came back to India. I worked another couple of years, and then I decided to move on and learn a little bit more and move towards the PhD degree. So that's my, I would say, overall professional and combined education experience altogether.
Great. Mr. Gaurav, from starting of your as a student in school, did you have any notions in your mind that you want to do a civil engineering course, or any other streams were more interesting for you?
Well, I would say civil engineering was not the first choice for me, but of course, when I got into civil engineering, uh, it was totally a different experience for me, because I never thought of what we are learning in civil engineering could be taught apart from any other stream at that time, because my first inclination was always electronics and electrical engineering, partly because my father is electronics engineer, and we've seen in house and overall as well,
Yeah.
he was working quite a lot with electronics. That was the first love, I would say. But then somehow it didn't happen, and I got an admission in civil engineering, so I started doing civil engineering. It was nice. It was nice experience, and we learned. I mean, I learned a lot with that, and yeah, that was the initial thing with civil engineering, I would say.
Right. So,
Neha.
if we sum up totally, you are currently happy with
Ye-
your profile.
Yes, I am very well happy with my profile currently, although I'm not fully involved with civil engineering or the core of the civil engineering, so to say.
Yeah.
But certainly in my job profile, I do have an advantage because of civil engineering background.
Right.
So I'm basically involved in digital initiatives in my company, and also looking after the business in Europe
Yes.
for oil and gas industry. And and probably a lot of students on the website need not just civil engineers, but hydraulic engineers. You need IT engineers, and road construction engineers, and
Right.
at the same time, those who know about the geotechnical stuff.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
these are specific specializations of civil engineering that someone can look after. in oil and gas.
So, to our viewers, I just wanted to let you know that Mr. Gaurav has 14 years of experience, and right now he's working with oil and gas industry. He is working with Rosen in Netherlands. You how you moved to from civil engineering to this oil and gas industry, and how civil engineering is helping you in that? Although you have done few courses, master's degree and doctoral degree into geometrics, so how it is helping you?
Yeah, so how I moved into this Rosen or in Netherlands is it's purely because of my let's say a master's and PhD degree. So as I said, I did my master's in geoinformation science, so which is basically a stream where you can make use of satellite images and do land use management or change detection using the satellite images, which is what is also somehow needed in civil engineering as well. So I remember there was a project in my first company where I was where I joined as an assistant highway engineer. Span Consultants was the company name, and that's where we had this project where we procured a big satellite imagery for Delhi, and we were trying to find an express highway which bypasses the Delhi region. We were trying to find the alignment on using the satellite imagery. So that was also the click to get into this geoinformation science. And this geoinformation science leads me towards the PhD as well. And my PhD helped the gas industry as well in a way that all these software knowledge that I get from my PhD and masters, I can help my company Rosen for all sorts of analysis and analytics that we do with the data.
Right.
So you see the movement from civil engineering towards the data, and now helping even beyond civil engineering is
Yes.
all because of civil engineering as well.
Right. So, what are the software related training available? Have you taken any kind of training, any certification into the specific softwares who is helping you in your current profile and might be in past also?
Yeah, so definitely there is a need for a software knowledge as well. So when somebody is passing out from a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, they should have at least some sort of software background as well. So just a user level is good enough, I would say. So I did do AutoCAD when I graduated from my civil engineering, because somebody told me AutoCAD is the only thing that can get you the job. So I said, okay, let's do AutoCAD then. Yeah. And thankfully, because of that, I got the first job as well. Although we did not use too much of AutoCAD in the job, because there were a lot of other users who could help you out with drafting and creating plans and those kind of things. But lately I've seen that the more you are aware of the softwares and the more you can use it in your daily job, the better are your job prospects, even for civil engineers as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So, so Gaurav, for these new talents, new freshers, how they should choose their career path, how they choose their streams, because if they enter civil engineering or civil engineering itself is a very vast domain. So you have done into highways, you are now into geoinformatics, there are environmental sciences, road safety, there's a lot of things. So how a person should
Mhm.
identify the capabilities and how they choose it?
Okay, so in terms of capability, I would say, first focus on your core. And let's say if a student is from civil engineering, let him he or she should focus on civil engineering part first, at least for a couple of years. I would say minimum 5 years. Otherwise, you will still be treated as a fresh, I would say, because there is so much to learn in civil engineering. So I would say focus on core, learn for first 5 years core civil engineering. It's a hard job. Learn it, and then you decide where you want to be, whether you want to have a desktop job sitting in the office, or whether you want to be in the field, playing with or doing surveys, or using new technologies as well. So then you make up your mind and then take a I at least worked for 1.5 or 2 years with Span Consultants. So I was doing an highway engineering, and then I made up my mind, okay, Now I know where I have to be. I cannot be sitting or doing surveys in the field. So I want to do something with the softwares, helping civil engineering using software tools. So that's how I moved into geoinformation science. Yeah. And I would advise everyone as well listening to this video as well, make up your mind first 5 years and then move for a next step.
Yeah, at least you will understand yourself and your interest also in those 5 years. You can identify your interest level.
Absolutely. 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 Because like I said, civil engineering has so much variety. So you can go into building construction or building design. You could even go into planning stage also. You could
Right.
also go into highway design, highway engineering, or transport planning, right?
Yeah.
At the same time, there are other branches in civil engineering which hardly anyone knows, and they are industry specific. So let's say if I pick up an example of oil and gas industry,
Mhm.
structures are very common, and it's a multi-million dollar projects that we deal with, right? So if you know structural engineering, you are king in oil and gas industry. So if you know about StatPro, or if you know about some other softwares, and you can calculate loads of structures,
Yeah,
whether it is a steel structure or a concrete structure, you are king in oil and gas industry. Believe me.
you will be needed. There are specific courses, or
Yes,
there are specific
absolutely.
certifications. If we identify my interest, like it's in oil and gas or another industry. So, are there any specific kind of courses, specific kind of certification I have to do, or how should I initiate in a other industry than if take it as oil and gas? Have you done any kind of other certifications?
Uh, I would say in oil and gas also, because I'm from the software background now, so moved from civil to software side. So I have quite an extensive background in software, right? So that helped me to move into oil and gas industry. As I said, I mean, civil engineering is also involved in oil and gas, but there are other fields as well. So if somebody has to move from civil engineering
Yeah.
into oil and gas, I would say look on the internet first and make up your mind where you want to go. So whether you want to go, even in oil and gas, you have offshore engineering or an onshore engineering part. So in offshore engineering, whether you want to do a platform design, a platform
Mhm.
is a something where you drill under the seabed and you extract oil or gas.
Yeah.
So that can become very specialized course. So, but these are the engineering courses that you can learn either through master's degree
Mhm.
or through some very specialized courses which are offered by big operators, basically online courses. I haven't seen any course apart from the university degrees
Mhm.
that are applicable to the oil and gas industry. But certainly there are some courses which are opening up. So, for example, there are different institutes called NACE or ASME or API.
Mhm.
They do offer specific certification in these fields.
Yeah.
But I would say if you really want to get into oil and gas, just join any oil and gas company, start learning about things, because it's such a
Yeah.
vast knowledge available in this industry that it's difficult to pick and choose. So just pick one stream first, and because most of the viewers here would be from the civil engineering background, I
Right.
would say pick the civil engineering related topics, right? So structures to start with, and then slowly and gradually move into different areas of structural engineering.
Right. So, you are a master into geometrics. Then, how did you decide to be more specific and do PhD?
Oh, well, this happened by chance actually. It was not I wouldn't say that I always wanted to do PhD. So there was a European Union scholarship which was announced at that time, and I got an email from my professor in Netherlands, and he said, "Okay, there is a scholarship coming up. Would you like to apply for it? And we have a very nice PhD topic, which fits very well with your MSc topic as well,
Yeah.
master's topic." I said,
Mhm.
yes, why not? I will apply for it. And I applied for it, and I think we were roughly 10 or 15 people in India who got the scholarship. So it was European Union Erasmus Mundus scholarship. So I think they still release it for India as well. So those of you who are also watching this video, they can also apply for
Yeah.
such scholarships as well. And it's not
Right.
just for PhD. I would say it's also for master's degree as well. And in some cases, bachelor degrees or post graduation as well, which is
Right.
called postdoctoral degree.
Okay.
So a lot of viewers can also apply to those scholarships.
Are there any other universities worldwide who are offering these kind of scholarships and these kind of courses, or what do you suggest?
Yeah, definitely. There are, so for example, in Netherlands, it's called NUFIC,
Mm-hmm.
NUFFIC, which is
Okay.
NUFIC scholarship.
Mm-hmm.
And at the same time, at the European level, so for all European countries, it's called Erasmus Mundus. So
Okay.
it's called European Union Erasmus Mundus Scholarship Package. There are other countries like Germany has their own scholarship system, which is called DAAD, which is called
Oh,
DAD scholarship. And one has to apply to it and then, see whether you get selected or not. There are specific streams for which every year they release these scholarships. And apart from these, individually there are universities who also release such scholarships. So please waive off your tuition fees, but the rest of the stuff has to be managed by the students on their own.
right.
However, if the student is selected, let's say by Erasmus Mundus or
Mm-hmm.
by that scholarship, which is a very highly reputed scholarships,
Mm-hmm.
then rest assured everything is covered by these scholarships. So
Right.
that would be my target for students, I would say.
All right. So, Mr. Gaurav, if somebody has done his bachelor's degree into civil engineering, so what do you
Mhm.
suggest? They should work for some time, then they do their master's. Master's is needed, or you can do well in your career without master's or any specific degree.
Neha, I missed your voice in between. Sorry. Can you
All
can
right.
you
So
repeat
I'll,
once
I'll
again?
repeat my question. It's like somebody has done his bachelor's from
Hmm.
civil engineering. So
Right.
a person should work for some time, then he or she should go for the master's degree, or doing the bachelor degree would be well enough to build their careers. I mean, they can grow without masters or specific degrees.
Right. Okay. So I would say one should at least, after bachelor's degree, they should at least do for a couple of years an industry check. I always call it as an industry check because when you are in your professional career, you learn more and you get to know that what is the next upcoming field where you should be focusing on, whether it is in terms of profession or in terms of your education as well.
Yeah.
And they both are interconnected, right? So you cannot separate it. So I would suggest to everyone that work for a couple of years, make up your mind and see where you want to be or where your industry is heading in next 5 or 6 years. And based on that, look for the courses that interest you and you are confident about, or you can learn something new, and then move on for
Yeah.
masters. I mean, I personally say bachelor's, take a professional experience, and then move on to masters, rather than doing bachelor's and then straight away going to masters. That is also a good option. But then, if you have a professional background after masters, there is a high probability of you getting a placement.
Yes. True. Right. So you have worked in India, you have worked in Europe. So what is the difference you feel in both working environment and working culture?
Hmm. Okay, so if I look at the main difference between Europe and India, I would say there is a vast difference, professionally as well as overall as well. So professionally is that your superiors here treat you like your own colleagues as well, right? So there is no hierarchy. It
Right.
could be probably because in Netherlands we have this system, but they always treat you based on your knowledge level. So if you have a higher knowledge, no matter how where you are in the hierarchy, they always treat you at par with others. Whereas I mean, I've worked in India as well. It was slightly a different story in India. And I would say the work-life balance is much better in outside India rather than in India, I would say. In India we work quite a lot, even on Saturdays and Sundays, and there is no timing from 9 to 5.
Yes.
uh, but in Europe it's very strict. 9 to 5 is your job. Saturday and Sunday you have to spend time with family, because you have to get relaxed, your brain, and then get back to work on next Monday. So
Right.
that's the major difference that I have seen,
All
basically.
right.
But overall, if I consider, let's say, Indians or the Asian community, I think I can say they are more brainer than the rest of the people here.
More workaholic.
Yes, and I think it is because of we worked in India as well. We've seen the competition there, and here in Europe it's less competitive. I would say because of the population as well.
Mhm.
So here I think people are really easygoing, right? So say, okay, things can happen, that can wait. If there is an urgency at home, just take care of your family first, and profession can come next. So
Right.
whereas it's other way around in India, I've seen many times.
Right. So there's a lot of things Indian culture, working culture should learn from the Western world. Because finally, if you are happy with the family part, you can contribute more in your professional.
Absolutely, absolutely. So if your mind is relaxed at home with the family,
Yeah.
you can even positively create good impact in your professional career as well. Yeah,
Right.
definitely.
Right. Right. So you might have seen a lot of, you might have worked with a lot of freshers also, or people who have 2 3 years of experience. Do you feel that their educational capabilities and the industry experiences entirely, there is a gap in between them? There are different expectations as an industry from them.
Uh, if I look at my current situation, so the freshers that join the industry, of course there is still a gap, right? So the curriculum that we have, whether it is an Indian curriculum or a European curriculum or anything else, I think there is still a gap where what industry needs or what industry demands right now, that is not being taught in the universities. Uh, but for sure, we need that fundamental knowledge as well from our colleges or from the existing curriculum. So
Mhm.
I would say definitely there is a gap, and that's where I see this Gurukul for Civil Engineers. It's doing a very nice initiative, because you guys are bringing up the latest expertise, or the practical knowledge that is needed for someone to get ready into
Right.
their professional world. That's where it is making an impact. And I would say even the bachelors guys, or those who are doing the civil engineering with bachelors, they could just join some of these courses, important courses online, get themselves learn these new tools and techniques,
Mhm.
learn from the experts and the mentors on the website, and
Mhm.
then be ready for the next job or the next step in their career.
Right.
So there is definitely a gap in the curriculum and what industry demand, but I think this will take a time to get filled up.
Don't you think, Mr. Singh, that there should be a body or association uh, who is can participate as a middle function between the industry and the institutions, who can tell the institution to upgrade their courses, what the industry needed, why we are just lagging behind with the old curriculum and specified courses.
Hmm. Yeah, definitely. I think there should be some sort of a how do I say, a middle layer in between,
Yeah.
that at least advises not just the students but also the universities, or at least listen to the universities,
Yeah.
and at the same time be connected with the industry and see, okay, where is the industry demand? How can I advise to the universities to
Yeah.
upgrade some of the curriculum, and then
Right.
get ready these new workforce that is coming up
Hmm.
for future. Yeah, so that level should be there. What I've seen here, at least in Netherlands, what I see is that we have two different levels of education here.
Hmm.
The one is called University of Applied Sciences,
Hmm.
and one is called a proper university. Whereas in India, it's university, all is university, right? So here it's a very nice thing that when somebody wants to go straight into the market after their bachelor's or master's, they straight away go to University of Applied Sciences. So the thing is, University of Applied Sciences, they also provide you masters and bachelors in engineering, but they make you ready for industry. They make you ready to immediately get the job after your course,
Yeah.
basically. Whereas if you go towards the university, which are actual universities, there they make you ready for, a long-term thinking process as well. So they groom you towards the research as well at the same time. So what they do is they say, okay, once you've done your engineering, you have to do a 6 months research program as well.
Mm.
And then you can decide whether you want to go towards the PhD or whether you want to go towards the corporate world or you want to do something totally different. I think
Right.
that needs to be done in our curriculum in India as well, right?
Right.
So there should be a college that grooms everyone based on industry needs, and
Mm.
other college which prepares long-term thinkers as well, researchers, and not just researchers, but thinkers at the same time.
Uh, so, with your understanding, what you can guide us like is in this field or in any field, how is the soft skills and the personality development is important? Does it play a role in your career?
uh, Definitely soft skills are. Absolutely, yes, yes. So I would say definitely soft skills are needed. Apart from your, let's say, technical expertise, soft skills are needed because you need to know how to interact with other people as well, and not just your colleagues, but other stakeholders in the project or even your superiors as well, right? So I can recall that education can take you from A to B, but your soft skill can take you from A to Z as well at the same time. So you need to know how to interact and how to listen carefully. Sometimes people do not understand that listening is equally important than just speaking at the same time. So you need to know when to start talking and when to stop talking and when to listen somebody. And these are the parts of soft skill which nobody teaches, right?
Right.
So either you learn through your professional experience, or you learn by looking at somebody else. And you can do some courses also online, but I would say the more you practice it professionally, the better you get on your soft skills as well.
Right. Right. So, Mr. Singh, what do you highlight? What is your major accomplishment in life till now? And what were your hardship and struggles? If you want to tell us.
Hardship and struggles. There were
Let's
there were
start with the accomplishments.
well, accomplishment is, I would say, I definitely never thought of that I would do a PhD, but I would say nobody would have thought in my batch as well. For I mean, my bachelor colleagues, that was my biggest accomplishment, I would say. Uh, Hardship, I would say, yeah, there has been a lot of hardships as well. But believe me, having come so far, I don't even remember those hardship, except for the last one, which was really a hardship for me, is completing my postgraduate doctoral degree, actually. So the doctoral degree was the toughest part, and I'm basically thankful that it was a tough time for me and for my family as well, because it's not easy to do a doctoral degree. And my guide, he was the toughest guide, I would say. And before I joined my PhD, I knew that he's the toughest guy, and I have to put everything onto it.
Right.
We say in Hindi, Sam Dam Dand Bhed,
Yeah.
वो सब लगाना पड़ेगा PhD को करने के लिए, and that's what I did actually.
Right.
And I'm really grateful because I learned a lot with this process. He taught me a lot of things, that never make decision without overturning each and every stone, which is important in these days, because there is a lot of information available on the internet, but
Right.
someone or one should be able to assess what is the right information to make that decision.
Right.
And that is something that I learned a lot. Yeah.
Right. So, do you have any inspiration, as in particular, somebody have inspired you in your entire life, entire career? Do you give any credits to any other than yourself for your journey?
Not really. I did not have any particular teacher that I would admire and be like that. I think I just took it as it came to me. I just कहते हैं, go with the flow. I just did that. I
All right.
just swim with the in the direction of the water. Yeah.
So at the end, Mr. Gaurav, just wanted to know is like, how do you spend your time other than your work? Um, do you have any hobbies? Because I think for work-life balance, having hobby is very important.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, in my yeah, in my I love to laze around or read a book. Any book is fine with me. Anything that involves politics and intelligence related stuff, I would love to read that. Yeah, fortunately, we have a small garden at our back, and grooming and trimming that garden takes a lot of time and
Yeah,
energy. So
true.
that's another pastime. And yeah, obviously spending time with family and just lazing around, watching a movie on a Saturday, Sunday. That's more than enough to re-energize my brain. Yeah.
Right, right. So, thank you so much, Mr. Singh. It has been a pleasure talking to you, and you have given entirely different perspective about the education and the degrees and the industry. And the people who has entered civil engineering just thought of that civil engineering degree is just specified for this industry. You have given a new perspective that other industries, if they will go and identify their interests, they can work in different industries also. Thank you so much.
Right. Right.
Right. So
Thank you, Neha. Thank
thank
you.
you.
Thank you for
So, do
having
you
me.
want to say anything in the last about our viewers? What were your thought about choosing the industry? How do you end up?
Uh, well, as I said, I mean, I just, took life as it came and I just go with the flow. So I would say sometimes, the more you resist, the more problematic it is for you. So just go with the flow. Even if it is a civil engineering, go with the flow. Don't be disheartened looking at somebody said, oh, he was an electronics engineer or a computer engineer and I'm a civil engineer. It
Yeah,
doesn't matter. In the end, let's say after 10 or 15 years you all are standing at the same platform. So just be proud of being a civil engineer, because there are so many things that a civil engineer can do which an electronics or a computer engineer cannot, believe me.
perfect. Yeah.
So just be proud of yourself and
Thank you
keep
so much.
learning new.
Thank
Yeah,
you so much, Mr. Singh. Uh,
thank you.
right. So keep watching us and please subscribe to our channel, Gurukul of Civil Engineers. You can visit our website www.com GCE Lab and do visit us. We will be coming up with new different people's interview. You will have more knowledge and more inspiration. Thank you so much, Mr. Gaurav.